very beautiful people, truly speaking. I see you to be very friendly, very warm, very welcoming. In Ghana, we say that we are the friendliest people in West Africa and probably in all of Africa. But I must say that Gambians are friendly people. I've been well received anywhere that I've been to. I'm always surprised at the way anybody, woman, man, child, old man, the first thing they do is, how are you? And then they stretch forth their hand. That is really interesting, an interesting experience for me. The people here are warm. It's a beautiful place and quiet. I'm coming from the capital city, Accra, where the population is much bigger. It's full of activity and it's very noisy over there. So coming here, it's a good, break for me from all the noise, as we say, the hustle and bustle of a big city like Accra. I like it here because I'm on leave and I want to rest, and I get the peace and the quiet to have that rest, that relaxation, and then to have some time for prayer and reflection. So I like it here, and I'm so happy and proud to see that my mates and my friends are doing so well. All of them whom I knew in the seminary, I'm with Father Moses Drame, and I'm amazed at his energy. Back in Ghana, he was known to be a quiet seminarian. Everybody liked him, quiet. The only time when he came alive was on the field, football field, very skillful, but I'm amazed at the work he's doing here. Very wonderful work. He's all over the place. He has time for his prayers. Last Sunday I visited Father Peter Lopez, and he has a wonderful parish, and I could see how the people were responding to him and how he was relating with them. I've also heard about, if you like, the exploits of my brother, Father Carl Gomez. I understand he's a military chaplain now, yes. And I'm so proud of them. I'm amazed, I'm happy about the work that they are doing here. So I'm so happy to be here.
And we pray that they'll continue the work to reach the people of
That's
God,
right.
spreading the gospel of Christ.
Amen.
Okay, and after your ordination in 2002, what was your first assignment or appointment, we may put it?
My first assignment was to St. Kizito Parish in Nima, and if you know Accra, Nima is a slum area, if you like, it's a zongo. It's where the very poor people are. And besides that, Nima is a very congested place, and it's known for, its high crime rate. So people do not have, if you like, a very positive image or ideas about Nima, and that is where I found myself. But it was really amazing. The people are down to earth. They are very simple people, very ordinary people who are struggling hard, to take care of themselves and their families. And when it comes to faith, the people there have a lot of faith. They love those of them who are Catholics, and the Catholic Church is really making, inroads there in Nima, strides. And let me quickly point out that Nima is a Muslim populated or dominated area. The Christians there are few, but even of the Christian population, the majority are Catholics. And it will interest you to know that the Muslims think highly of the Catholics and their priests, and many of them would have their children come to our mission school, the parish school there. And I was involved in the pastoral work, doing communion rounds, teaching catechism, preparing parents of infants for the baptism of their little ones. Of course, saying my masses, hearing confessions, and they have a large number of young people. So a good deal of the work also involves leading, organizing young people, to do, come up with positive, constructive activities to take them off their life in the streets. So it was really wonderful at Nima, my first assignment.
And since then, after where have you worked also?
After my experience or my work at Nima, my second assignment took me to the rural part of Accra. I had 5 stations to take care of. And these are typical rural deprived communities. In fact, not many people in Accra are aware of the existence of such places. These are communities in very dire need. Where I worked, they didn't have markets, they didn't have lorry station, they didn't have electricity, no pipe-borne water. There was just one school in each village. In one school you could find the basic, what you call here the lower basic, and then another village had the upper basic. That was all. And they lived on their farms. I mean, they ate food that they grew. They didn't have any market, so the food they consumed was the food that they grew on their farms. It was that simple. And the experience there was that we have all these classes of people in our society. We have the very rich, we have the middle class, we have the working class, and then we have the very poor people also. And my experience there was that for such people who are very deprived, all they think about is how to survive. So much so that even issues of religion or faith are sometimes, unfortunately, pushed to the side, because they have to just find their basic food and be able to supply the basic needs for themselves and their children. And then when they find time, then they are able to come to church. So Sundays, I had to get into the community, the village, and go round, knock on doors, tell them that it's time for mass or it's time to worship. Come out, and you have to be patient with them. Sometimes wait an hour for them to go and take their bath or take a shower before coming to mass. You have to be very patient with them, and you have to try and come down to their level. In the seminary we study all these let me say high theology and philosophy, but with such people you have to try very hard to use simple language. Tell them very simply about the love of God, the mercy of God, and the need for us to love one another. I believe in such situations, that is all that you have to tell the people, because as I said, their basic concern is about taking care of the very basic needs of life: food, clothing, and shelter. And for them, it's such a huge challenge that meeting that takes all of their time and all of their day. And so the little time they find, they make that for worship. Right. And so you have to be very patient with them. And sometimes that is the main parish. I have to go to the main parish to look for material help for the people, getting them second-hand clothes, shoes, and even some provisions of food, like powdered milk, sometimes rice, sometimes sugar, and we get generous parishioners or wealthy parishioners in the big parishes in the city to help, yes, with the education of some of the kids in the village, paying for their fees or providing them with school uniforms and books.
Yeah, well, there we are, and before we come to the end of this